So beginning in knee pile, right over left, we'll start right off with alternate nostril breathing. So get your tissues ready, I guess. Just relaxing the left hand in any of your favorite mudras, or palm up, palm down. Right thumb, close right nostril. Inhale through the left. And we'll exhale out the right. And then inhale through the right. Exhaling left. So we're going to start just like so. Just letting a steady flow of breath start to register in just one nostril at a time. Because already that's a pretty big change to our respiratory muscles, our nervous system. So we're just going to give this a few moments to kind of work in and work with our body, our brain. So right now you don't have to count anything. Simply feel for the continuity of breath and all those lovely companion efforts that usher that along. Little respiration muscles and intercostals. When you complete a round, or whichever round that you're on, we'll just take a pause to switch everything. So we'll switch our legs to left over right. We'll switch our hands to left hand. And we'll switch the alternate nostril breathing to contain a hold if you're holding your breath, if you're able to. Okay. So here, if you wanted to apply a count or some measure of metric, you could go 10, 10, 10. That would be one possibility. You can go 8, 4, 8. like 2 to 1 to 2. So there's a lot of options. 1 to 3 to 2, you inhale 5, hold 15, exhale 10. But when I'm just getting started, I tend to just keep an even breath, and then I start to lengthen the exhale, and then hold, plus lengthen the exhale, and then lengthen everything. Right? So just little incremental expansions. Seems to go a little easier on my psyche and diaphragm and nervous system than trying to just dive into the deep end, as they say. All right. And as we continue, maintain back of head over back of pelvis, taking note if the head is bowing off to the side or forward to find the hand. Bring the hand to the face. And in this last round, so we'll just finish the round that you're on and we'll do one more. In this next or last round, you can begin that inquiry of what's most needed in your personal practice today. Is it insight? Is it guidance? Is it focus? Is it a certain quality of energy? A certain quality of heart? We'll keep the left over the right, and we'll open up into a half lotus or cross-legged position. Seated spinal twist. So continuing to breathe and work with all of these fine, deep respiration muscles. We've started to wake up with that alternate nostril breathing. Let's keep inviting them to play. As we twist to our left. So there's all these wonderful technologies for altering our access, our relationship to breath. Closing a nostril and winding up the body and folding it and compressing it and stretching it and turning it. And through all of that, feel the connection to breath, how we're willing to work and play to keep that relationship to breath rich, vibrant, foregrounded. Release. Inhale back to center. We'll switch the cross of our legs. Let's feel like there's that Ujjayi sound, there's that Ujjayi voice. One of the things I appreciate about that alternate nostril breathing is how we can use it to wake up this much finer, the word most easily at my fingertips is control, but it's not control, but it's a much finer working with all that is breathing, wants to breathe. So on our exhale, we'll turn to the right. And you can still be accessing and playing with that finer workmanship, that articulation of the muscles, the kind of the craftsmanship around the breath. These aren't the best words, they're just the first ones. Inhaling, unwind. All right. So, using a couple of blocks, we're going to begin a little bit of a bridge series. I know we just did some back bends yesterday, so it's not going to be super back bendy. We're going to start a bridge series. I like to use the blocks this way, which is low and wide. So I'll get those set up. If you just have one block, it's fine. The setup is lying, little bridge, and then slide your bench under your butt the low way. So your whole pelvis has just a nice amount of support. And the blocks are on the pelvis, the sacrum. They're not on the spine. The low back part of the spine is free. Then both starting to walk the legs straightened along the ground and reach the arms straightened overhead. So my limbs are on the ground or getting pretty close to the ground. So in this supported, kind of stretched out way, almost like the way we'd start a sun salutation. We're going to take several deep breaths, and we're going to work this actively. Actively meaning we're not just going to drape over the blocks, but stretch the legs, engaging the quadriceps, wrapping the shoulders, opening up the hand bones. And engaging with that Ujjayi breath. So part of the breath work is to awaken these respiratory muscles. And as they are called to work in some of these various configurations, conditions, that it starts to wake up these muscles. It starts to wake up our ability to express with our whole body. To express breath is, again, to express voice. We're working with an Ujjayi breath. That is a voiced breath. It calls on the whole body to become part of that voicing. Not just a part of the body, not just a lung, not just a diaphragm. It calls on the whole body. So inhale, bend the left knee. We're picking the left foot off the ground. At first, take the left knee over the pelvis. And in subsequent moments, you want to start to straighten or raise the left leg, just like we would in a bridge. That's an option. But I'm still working with the legs strongly. If the left leg feels like it's pulling toward the ground. Just, you can always keep a little bend in the knee. Keeping a little bend in the knee does not mean I instantly go passive in the leg. I can still be working strongly to straighten as I'm keeping the knee over the pelvis. So it's a both and. For this version, I'm not trying to grab onto the leg and hold it in place or pull it more closely to me. I'm simply engaging the legs on their own terms. My arms are still overhead on the ground. Now we'll switch sides. This is about engaging the respiration muscles, the littler ones, the sleepier ones. All right. So I've let the left leg move back down to the ground, inhaling, drawing the right knee over the pelvis. And that's the condition. Thereafter, however much you straighten the leg or work towards straightening the leg, that's within the scope of your practice. And as we're kind of finishing up here, I'll ask you, as you're listening to the sound of your Ujjayi breath, what is it that you're hearing in your voiced breath? How is it that you're hearing your breath? How does that sound in your inner ear? How does that sound in your inner voice? Does it feel strained? Is it opening? Does it feel powerful? Does the sound of your voiced breath, your Ujjayi breath, sound? How? It's not an adjudication. We're just getting textural and qualitative and intuitive reads. So to me, intuition is kind of like instantaneous wisdom. It's just letting deeper stuff populate up in an instantaneous, unsearching way. And we'll set that right foot down. Now I would suggest putting both soles of feet on the ground, bridging up, moving the blocks off to the side, and then lowering down. You might want a breath or two with the spine on the ground before you transition from there. All right. So when you're ready to move, when everything feels good and right, we'll set up for dolphin. So let's turn to a side. We'll set elbows and knees. Inhale, pushing the earth. Relaxing the neck. And we exhale the knees off the ground, dolphin. And so if there's a moment in these poses are ways of highlighting and showcasing deeper aspects of our voice, our body, our parts that we might not ordinarily have access to. So as these poses start to showcase, to show us little things like a feeling of stuckness or irritability or thrill or excitement, is how does breath come into that moment, that feeling, experiential picture moment? So in a way, this is kind of in a poetic way, we're kind of holding the sensation in, proverbially in one hand, and breathing and moving and meeting it and so we get a chance to bring the sensation and the breath into contact and finding out if there's that little bit of alchemy in their contact. And I'm saying sensation, big, huge, broad word. What's under sensation? Oh my gosh, anything. A little whiff of a memory, a little poof of all those thoughts we were thinking about, pondering about, writing about, or the provocation of a little emotional flavor, right? Or just an unnameable energy shift. Set the knees down for just a moment. Take 2 deep breaths. Stay with the Ujjayi breath. So just because we pause on the pose, we're going to keep that breath deep and close at hand. And here's part 2. On your next exhale, press the knees right back up. We're back in dolphin. Inhaling, draw the left leg off the ground, reaching it back. Okay, so not too unlike that last configuration. All the legs active. And in that activity, which is a signature way, a particular way of calling energy into the through our body, our person, we bring in that breath and feeling how breath and energy start to work together, play together. Got left leg, all right. And we'll switch, bringing the left foot down. And inhaling the right leg out. And we'll set right foot down, knees down. All right. So let's lie on our back again. We're going to move through some abdominals. Have a roll or a block nearby. And we'll start with the feet off the ground, the knees over the hips. And we'll go right into them. Hands interlaced behind the head. Inhale, float the head and the shoulders up off the ground. So our spine's getting a little different shape here. As the elbows lift to the sky, the tailbone lifts to the sky. Exhale, reach out through the left leg, spreading the foot bones. And you can reach out so that left foot's a few feet off the ground. If you're reaching it straight up, I'm going to read that as you have a medical condition or a back issue or something. Draw the low belly down. Inhale, bend the left knee. As the elbows lift up, the tailbone lifts up. Exhale, right leg out reaches. Because you'll notice if you raise the right leg to vertical, there's a lessening of the abdominal involvement. Pull low belly down. Inhale, bend the right knee. The elbows lift, the tailbone lifts to sky. Exhale, reach the left leg out. So by reaching the left leg down from vertical, there's more abdominal engagement. Pull low belly down. Inhale, bend the left knee. Elbows, the tailbone lift to the sky. Exhale, reach out through the right leg. There you go. And draw the low belly down. Sink, gather, gather, gather. So you're staying with the exhale, staying with the sensation. Inhale, bend the right knee. Let's do 3 more per side. So go ahead, please continue. 3 more per side. There you go. Yeah. These differing degrees of abdominal involvement. We bring the feet off the ground. We bring the legs into the air. We reach the legs off vertical. All these differing sets of conditions become ways to connect to our breath resolutely. So instead of looking for the bodily condition or configuration necessarily to make the breath as unchallenged as possible, with these poses, in this particular practice, we're placing the body in these configurations, challenging the breath, and finding ways to connect to it more strongly, more resolutely. Now, when we do something like a yin practice, we flip all the tables. We'll look for that way of positioning the body so we can remove the effort. As working on that conscious connection to breath, but peeling away those layers of effort. But this is a really physical practice. We are looking to open and awaken these physical attributes. All right, so let's grab that block or that roll and place it between the legs, like so. And then raise the legs skyward. So our body is kind of at a right angle. There you go. All right. So hang with me here. We're going to keep that L shape. And just like before, keeping the knees over the pelvis. The legs, for these next 5 breaths, we're working them actively. But the caveat is keeping the knees over the pelvis. So for 5 deep Ujjayi breaths, letting the head remain on the ground, keeping the legs working strongly in the direction of vertical. So there's no abdominal yet, but we're breathing. So here we go. Inhaling into the low back. Let the head remain down. If the head's got a habit of pulling up off the ground, just go, hey head, different task. And then as you exhale, is holding that object. If you want to squeeze it, it's fine. It'll just become more challenging. And engaging the legs towards straightened. So we're going to keep the legs up for 5 breaths. 4 now. Inhaling. You can hold that block. Exhale, active legs. So there's muscles in the quads, there's those inner leg muscles, the calf muscles, the foot muscles, spreading, reaching, strongly straightening. Exhale, those are those respiration muscles, those abdominal muscles. Take these next 3 breaths at your pace. So again, we're not holding the legs passively. Reach towards straightening. If you straighten, don't hyperextend, but just work those muscles strong plus long. So if they're not quite straightening legs, it'll be there's some strong sensation that might show up. Keeping the knees over the hips, strongly with the muscles. So you can still strong, still long, strong, even as you're breathing while it feels strong. With the hands interlaced behind the head, now we'll begin our abdominals. Part 2. Inhale into the low back and into the low ribs. Squeeze the object. Oh, we're just getting started. Exhale, float the head and the shoulder blades up just a teeny tiny amount, squeezing the object to more fully engage the legs, straightening them. Pull low belly down more deeply, drawing it all the way down. Now inhale, let the head down, relaxing the legs somewhat from the object. Now more strongly squeeze the object as you exhale, the head, shoulders up off the ground. Stretching the legs toward the sky, let those leg muscles work strong, long. Draw the low belly down, follow the belly in, working it, follow the workingness all the way down to the very end. Inhale, let the head down. You'll do the final 3 on your own. Hang in there, legs. Keeping the knees over the pelvis. There you go. Notice any hesitancy or resistance to working the legs in a strong, long way. You don't have to reason it. Oh, it's because of this, it's because of that. I'm just saying, notice any resistance or hesitancy, the sensation of resistance, the sensation of hesitancy, or the sensation of irritability leading to stopping or quitting. Just noticing how those sensations show up. Not the reasoning, the sensation. Sensation precedes reasoning. Reasoning is all the stuff our personality adds in to dress it up and to make a nice story or drama, right? Reasoning is what the detective does. I gotta find the cause. And we're working just a little different way. We're going, just like journalists, to the primary resource, the sensation, the energy beneath the sensation. The movingness, the flowingness, the pulsation, and the vibration within that. And when you're entirely through, we will set the feet down. We'll set up bridge. Decide if you want 1 or 2 blocks. And with the feet hip width apart, exhale, come into bridge. The butt elevates, the spine lifts away from the ground. In our bridge today, through the use of a mild exhale, we'll work a round at a time of Uddiyana. Let's do it together though. So as you're inhaling, expanding and feeling those respiration muscles open up the top of the rib, top of the sternal area. And then in a mild, maybe moderate way, exhale everything out. I'll keep pressing with the feet as you draw the belly in and back. Drawing so the abdomen moves in from the periphery and up from the bottom. And then you can flare and bridge and lift and arc the ribs even more, the chest. Relaxing the abdomen to resume your Ujjayi breath. And we're going to take several Ujjayi breaths. So just letting the effects and the changes, letting that register for a moment. Not just letting it register in our mind, but letting it register with our breath. There's a shape of breath, and it may have changed through that Uddiyana. So we're just going to just give it another breath. Even if you're charged up and ready to go, there's still impressions. We can do a second round. So in bridge, just taking a soft, a mild to moderate exhale. Drawing the belly in from the periphery, back, kind of front to back and up, bottom to top. You can add in the flare and the extra chest fanning the chest ribs up toward the face as you're working the Uddiyana. You can create another layer of stretch, of pull, of interest, energy, sensation. Sometimes we know very clearly the reason. Oh, I scar tissue from that, or oh, that's that thing that got a little dinged up in that one particular accident when the thing hit me like so, right? And sometimes we know that we're working very directly with the cause, the root of an event, a procedure, right? Sometimes we know the cause. Resuming your Ujjayi breath. Inhale, we'll draw the right knee over the hip, and then exhale, raise the right leg to the sky. And just like before, we'll keep the knee over the pelvis. And under that condition, we can be reaching the leg toward straightening, toward vertical, but we'll keep the knee over the pelvis. There you go. And I might recommend just letting your arms be on the ground beside you. Because when we exhale, mild to moderately swiftly, everything out. We're working a round of Uddiyana with leg up. And I might just get a little balancy. So as you're drawing the belly in, reaching the leg up. I think you got your right one up there. Fanning the ribs away from the gut, away from the leg. And when you relax the belly, resume that deep Ujjayi breath. Pressing, reaching, sending that leg skyward. Inhale, we'll place that leg down to the ground. Get your footing, feel your footing. Inhaling, we'll draw the left knee over the pelvis. And then exhaling, raising, reaching that left leg. Again, condition is knee over pelvis, so whether the leg straightens or not, it's okay, but engaging the leg strongly. And then exhaling mildly, moderately, swiftly. Staying empty. Drawing the belly in. Reaching the leg up as you draw the belly in. Fanning the chest bones up toward the face. So drawing all that rib stuff. Moving it. Relaxing the belly, breathing, resuming that Ujjayi breath. And keep working with that leg for one more breath moment as you send it, stretch it, reach it. And then inhale, place that left foot down to the ground. And with both feet planted, exhale, move the tailbone, the butt off of the blocks. Move blocks to the side. And begin your descent, bringing the upper spine to the ground, the mid-spine, low back and the buttock. Great. Once you've lowered, as it seems you have, let's turn onto a side. Pressing. So we'll use a little wall. We'll be kicking up into forearm balance with legs split apart. So if you are kicking and using the wall to catch your balance, just know that you're going to have 2 tries. You're going to kick up with one leg, and then when it's time to switch the cross of your legs, you'll practice kicking up with the other leg. So if you have a strong side, you get to develop having 2 strong sides, right? Okay. And if you're not kicking and balancing, you do dolphin at the wall, stretching one leg away for 4, 5, 6 breaths, and then switching. Right? I think we know how that goes, but I'll do a little show and tell here, just in case. So if you are kicking and you're using a wall to catch your balance, start about leg length away, which by 3 feet. Is that? And if you end up close, you can just reset. That might be a little close there. Yeah. All right. So we'll let you find that wall space, and so we're on our forearms inverted, separating the legs widely apart, both sides. You're going to get a chance to kick up both legs if you're kicking up. Yeah. All right. You might be a little close. I find the tailbone is so important in these inversion moves. Good. I'm glad you're all playing with kicking up. That's great. Make sure you give yourself a chance to do the other side. When the breath is challenged, find a way to more resolutely connect to the breath, assuring that the breath shows up, assuring that your voiced breath has a place in this experience. It absolutely does. Right? If we don't give our voice a place in the pose, our breath prominence, why would we do that with words, with language, in difficult situations? So this is a wonderful field testing for every kind of voicing that we work with. So good. Hear that Ujjayi breath. just take about another moment just to complete ourselves. Great. And then let's go to the top of our mat. Inhale, reach arms up overhead. Feel how you can stretch down through the back line of the body and the heels. Exhale, fold. Arrow lunge, inhale, step left foot back. Set knee and top of foot down. Arrow lunge is pressing and maybe knee lifts off ground. Arms reaching towards sky. And softly setting that left knee down. Easy twisting warrior. Inhale, we'll place the left hand down, curl the left toes under. And as we exhale the left knee off the ground, our chest is turning open to our right. If the breath sounds squeezed or hesitant, you can simply notice that sound. And with the sound, there's generally a feeling. It might be pressure. It might be something else. It might be another kind of a hesitancy or almost like a stutter. Notice you can feel any stutters in the breath, the musculature. Just think these are all fascinating movements to study. Inhale, bring the right hand down. Exhaling, chaturanga. Lower all the way down. We'll be working shoulder shrugs here. Okay. If you have any tenderness, soreness in the back, it might work out well for you to get a block between your ankles. You'll have to decide how wide to make it. But for some people, if you're working with back stuff, it's just really protective and helpful to be able to hold something strongly. It's a bracing strategy. Inhale, we'll float the knuckles, the elbows toward the sky. The chest lifts. And then exhale, squeeze the tops of the shoulders. Kind of lifting my knuckles and forearms to the sky. And then letting up middle parts of shoulder blades. Letting up bottom tips of shoulder blades. We're going to do 2 more rounds. Inhale. And then exhale. Squeeze tops, middle, bottom tips. Last round. Inhale. And exhale, 3 squeezes. Release. Inhale, hands under chest. Exhale, downward dog. Arrow lunge, inhale, left foot forward. Top of right foot down. Exhale, the knee up, the arms up. Good. Hug with that whole inner right leg. So there's a nice inner leg component there. Hug it in. There you go. The hope is it feels quite stabilizing in the hip and the knee and the ankle. There you go. Great. And you can arch and lift through the mid, through the upper back. There you go. Good. Inhale, we'll bring the right hand down. Easy twisting warrior. You might have to set the knee down. Back toes under. Exhale, press the knee off the ground. And as the left arm reaches skyward and backward, our chest turns open to our left. And inhale, left hand down. Exhale, chaturanga. We'll step that left foot back. Lower to the earth, belly to earth. Cobra. Inhale. The chest lifts. The hands assist the heart forward. Exhale, lower, downward dog. Hands under chest, and we'll press back. Softening through the neck, lengthening through the entire spine. And as we deepen our connection to breath and feel how the whole spine, feel which parts of the spine respond to breath, move with breath. Could you get a sense of that if you had 1 or 2 more breaths here? Maybe there's areas of the spine that don't quite converse with breath yet. There isn't that interaction just yet. So chest opener in warrior 2. Inhale, step the right foot forward. Warrior 2 stance. And we interlace the hands behind the back. Exhaling, the knuckles reach down. And if you get a little spacey here, as people do, just kind of focus back within the chest, within the shoulders. Yes, we know the heart is vast and universal, and we must be able to land and situate within our own body. So letting our body be the foundation of building this universal and expansive heart and body. Release. Inhale, reach the arms out to the side, turning the palms up, kite hawk. And then exhale, raise the shoulder blades, Just turning the thumbs down, the biceps down. And you can tip the head down if that works out on your neck all right. Do a couple more. And then inhaling, bringing the chest back up. Interlock warrior. Exhale. Right arm under the right thigh. Left arm behind the back. Keep hearing the breath. Keep hearing the voice of the breath. The Ujjayi sound is a voiced breath. Notice any desire to push or hasten the breath? Do you start to push it out and suck it in? Are you finessing the breath? Does it call up and wake up even more refined musculature around the breath? Does it start to pull on those hesitations or those taut moments or those strained areas? So wherever you're noticing in your body, you'll hear the voice in that moment. You'll hear it. You have a real-time readout every single moment of your practice. Release the hands. Inhale, place them under the shoulders. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Press with the tops of the feet, press with the palms. Exhale, downward dog. Chest opener, warrior two. Inhale, left foot forward. Exhaling, hands interlace, reach down. If the mind tries to kind of buzz about and do some mental housekeeping, like, just right back. And inhale, releasing hands, reach them out to the side, turn palms up. Kite hawk, exhale, raise the shoulders, turn the thumbs down, the biceps down. Do a couple more. Take a look at these stances so you can hear the voice with the power, the strength of the legs. Yeah, if you want more energy in your pose, in your breath, in your nervous system, right? It's really easy, deepen stance. Inhale. Bringing the chest back up to the horizon for interlock warrior. Exhale, we'll bring that left arm beneath the left thigh. Right hand behind back. And exhale, reach through that right leg, that back leg, that straightened leg. So we did a whole bunch in the beginning of practice to move that leg strongly in the direction of straightening. Straightening is just a direction, it's not a directive. It's not a mandate. So by activating that leg, we're kind of dipping into the whole, full energy of the body. We're kind of drawing in and drawing from what the legs have to offer. These are massive muscle groups. A lot of potential energy. And notice what happens to the voice, to the breath, when you start to draw on and draw from deeper wells of energy. For some of us, the voice gets really shaky or uncertain. For some of us, the breath starts to flutter or dip down or diminish. Notice. So all senses on board, listening to the breath, feeling the breath. And then changing the breath. We don't have to be stuck with hesitancy. It's a behavior and we can change it. It may take some musculature and some learning and some trying and some exploration. But these sensations often lead us to behaviors. And if we don't like the way we feel when we behave a certain way, we change the behavior, we change how we feel, we change how we think. Release. Inhale, unwind, hands under shoulders. Exhaling, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. When you set your knees down, there's a choose your own adventure moment. So I said we wouldn't get too backbendy. So you have your choice of which backbend you'll do. Either camel, 2 rounds, or bridge, with a strap, with a leg up, hands holding the strap. Let me remind you what that one is. There's a lot of long descriptive names for things. So So if I'm choosing the bridge, I've got a strap so that as I connect my hands to the strap, I gain a little extra chest opening move. And I have a lot of leverage with this strap so that I can raise one leg up at a time. Now here's what I believe. I really believe that a vast majority of us, when we set the foot down, can put it in the loop and step the other foot out without putting our butt on the ground. I believe a vast majority of us can stay in bridge to find where our feet are and our strap in the exchange. I don't believe a vast majority of us need to plop our butt down and find the strap with our eyes and then come back up. I do believe it can be done by most of us in bridge. The other option is camel. There's so many options with camel. You can do it with a wall, with a strap, with a towel, with a roll. Okay. We're going to do 2 sides or 2 rounds. So no matter which version you do, there'll be one moment of doing the back bend, and then there'll be a second moment. So I'm going to let you decide and get your gear. So if you're doing camel, pad your knees or get a roll if you use a roll, or you can get your neck. There's a nice little neck harness version of it. If you're doing the bridge, get a little bit of a loop. Get your hands in the loop. All right, so camel or bridge with a strap, 1 foot up at a time, 1 leg up at a time. All right, I'm just going to give us some freestyle moments, and I'll just call an approximate halftime between sides. I want to see what you're all doing. And so just go ahead and begin whenever you're ready to do the do. Here we go. No matter which version you're doing, the bridge or the camel, I hope we've been priming sufficiently developing this sense of being able to breathe richly into this upper heart territory. So those of you working with the bridge, use the reach of the leg to further the arch of the chest. Use the strength of the legs to help you get that breath and energy washing through the top lung, top heart. So it's going to be a really significant arch that you'll be able to create with your bridge. And do linger. Let the breaths kind of lingeringly work up into all those new areas. As you're working with back bends, listen to the breath. If you start to heave ho and use force over finesse, you'll hear it. It'll sound like huff, puff, huff, puff. Finessing this musculature and finessing the body to work with the breath. We started our practice doing alternate nostril breathing. And you still have that access to that very fine, focused, wakeful breathing. If the pose challenges the breath, and let the breath, the respiration structures, let them wake up to the task. There you go. And so it appears that we're all kind of in the home stretch of having done both sides. Okay. So if you have completed both sides or 2 rounds, would it take a seat? We're going to use a twist as a form of release. Okay. So this is my right knee bent. This is my right knee. And I've got a strap on my right ankle. This is for my right hand to grab behind my back. Try to angle so you can see another way. So I'm twisting to my right. My right hand has the strap, which is connected to my right ankle. Right, right, right. Release. We'll switch sides. When we release, let's take a seated position. Making sure it feels good to you, your knees, your everythings. We're going to resume where we started, alternate nostril breathing. So at first you might want to just take some back and forth breaths just to discover the fineness or the largeness or the shapeliness or the density or the weight or the velocity or the fluidity of your breath. You can always apply a count or a hold or a ratio. And after this round or so, decide if you want to remain seated or if you want to lie back. I'm taking us right up to time, so I'll let you take a look at your time. All right, friends. Namaste.